Alright everyone, the car's still here in the same spot, but today we are going to do the transmission fluid, filter, gasket, and we're going to replace the passenger side axle, because if y'all watched the last video, y'all would know that, yeah, it needs to be replaced. I'm not doing the Mazda fluid, I'm doing the AC Deco fluid with the Lube Guard Platinum. I think it's like an ounce for every quart of fluid. Of course, we're going to do the filter and the gasket. Now, people complain about this rubber gasket, but you don't tighten it down like on Hulk smash mode. You know, the oil pan is not pressurized, so it doesn't need to be really tight. Like, doesn't need to be all that tight at all. So when you do tighten it down, it mushrooms and then it leaks, which is what most of the Amazon comments come from, is it leaking. And then of course the eBay used I think it's like 62,000 mile axle. I mean, for $89 or $79 or something like that, you know, you can't beat it, because a brand new OEM axle is like $300. So I got a barely used OEM axle for a fourth of the cost. So let's get this going. All right, everyone, welcome to back under the car. All right, so to get this panel off, to get to the transmission pan, which is like right here somewhere, we have, I think they're 10 mils. Are they 10 millimeter? Yeah, we got some 10 millimeter bolt. And then you have these miscellaneous clips throughout. But once you get these bolts loose and get those clips, this whole panel will drop down. It's good to see that it's nice and dry and it's not oily, so that means that for the most part everything is good and sealed up. So now let's check out the drain. So that's the drain for the oil pan, but this is a 8 millimeter Allen wrench, and this is the size that you need to do the plug on the transmission pan. Hopefully it won't make a big mess. Looks like motor oil. It's brown, but it doesn't smell burnt. So I guess, you know, the color's not there, but it doesn't smell burnt. After this is finished draining, I'm gonna take the pan off, see how nasty it is in there. And then once we remove the filter, like another half a quart or so will come out of the filter. All right, so let's get to cracking these bolts loose. Yep, they're 10 millimeter. Yeah, see, these bolts aren't tight at all. So all of the oil pan bolts are out. So now it is time to drop the oil pan, and let's see if we can crack this bad boy loose. Get all out the way. There we go. All right. Normally, once you get a corner started, then the rest will just start coming right off. Yeah. All right. We're gonna let that drip for a little bit. All right, so we have, it looks like 110 mil that's holding the filter to the oil pan, and that might be the only one, just the one in the front. All right, so it's actually 2 bolts holding the transmission fluid filter on. There's one in the front and there's one in the back. We got this one, which is the one in the front, and then the one in the back. Like I said, in this, it should be like another like half a quart or so. Oh, there it is, and there goes that extra transmission fluid. Alright, so let's get the oil drain catch out of here. Go ahead and slap the new filter on, and then clean the transmission pan out. And then let's get it bolted back up. And clean up on aisle 3. I made a mess. Let's see what the bottom of this pan look like. I see shiny flakes of metal in the bottom of the pan. I don't know if you can see it on my glove. So it's definitely metal in here, which I mean, I expect that from 170,000 miles. But it's not as bad as what I thought it was gonna be at all. But let's check this magnet out. But on this magnet, look at all that metal shavings. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's all metal shavings right there. This is all metal shavings. Like at 170, this transmission is very healthy for what I've seen in my past life. See, I don't think we're gonna have no problems out of this. So you can see now what this magnet looks like versus what it looked like a minute ago. The magnet is cleaned up. Now to get to cleaning this pan up. Alright guys, so the only parts that I'm worried about is the flat part. The parts down here, which are recessed, I'm not worried about because the gasket doesn't hit that part. I'm just cleaning up the flat parts because that's what the gasket is going to sit on to make the seal, just like so. 15, 16, 17 10mm bolts holding this gasket on. So I feel like if I get the corner bolts started, then the rest should fall right in line. And I'm not going to tighten these very tight because, like I said, the transmission pan is not pressurized. It just holds fluid, so it doesn't need to be that tight. people in the Amazon reviews that say they leaked, they probably torqued them down as tight as they can get them. When you do that, the gaskets will mushroom and then they will leak. So they don't need to be that tight. It needs to be just finger tight and then like another quarter turn or something like that. You don't need to hook smash these bolts on the oil pans, I promise. Let's get started with the filter. All right. Then it just pushes right into place. Clean. What I'm gonna do, a bolt in each corner and see how that works out. I have all of the transmission pan bolts finger tight. I'm only gonna do like a quarter turn or so, maybe half a turn on each one. Like I said, if you tighten these too much, the rubber gasket will mushroom and it will leak. You don't need a lot of force. All right, there we go. Ugh. Oh, and let me make sure that this is actually tight, which it is. Now we need to remove the air box so we can actually get to the drain or to the field plug, which is right there. You have a 10mm bolt that comes out and then your plug comes out. So to remove the factory air box, you got a few things you can do. The thing I do first is unplug the valve sensor, get that out the way. And then you want to take loose the boot for the air box. You have 10mm bolts here. You want to take those out the way. Disconnect the boot. Unlatch the air box, and then I believe the harness is attached to the back of the air box. Reach down in this little gap here. Oh, there we go. So move the top of the air box to the side. Move the filter out the way. Move the harness somewhere safe. You don't want to mess that up. And then in here you have a little grommet there, a grommet there, and a grommet there. You just take it and just lift it up like so. And then the entire air box. Box assembly just comes out like so. The 10mm bolt that I was talking about is right here. This is also your fluid level check and your fluid field is right there as well. Take your 10mm. crack that bolt. Take the 10 mil out, stick it somewhere safe, and then when you pull this up, this is your, can y'all see that? This is your fluid check, which is also the hole for your fluid fill. So to measure how much that we took out, basically I took my measuring cup and I put half a quart of water in at a time, and I made my marks so I can get 4 quarts in this jug, and once it gets full I'll pour it out, pour some more in it until I know how much. Most people say they get about 5.5 quarts out, but like I said, whatever we take out we will just add back in. Let's see how much we actually took out. Alright, so that's 4 quarts. Just a little under 6 quarts. So we need to put 6 quarts in. So we are about to put in our 6 quarts of transmission fluid because we drained out 6 quarts. I went ahead while the transmission was empty of fluid. I went ahead and switched out the axles, and the old axle here, no boot. Now we are going to remove the fuel check little bobber right here, and there's no fluid in it, of course. I'm gonna take my little handy dandy blue 99-cent funnel, stick it right in there, hope that we have pretty good aim, and then I'm going to use the same jug that I used to measure how much fluid was taken out for consistency, and also because I don't have another jug. 4 quarts, 4 ounces, and then 2 quarts, 2 ounces. That should get us in the ballpark of what we need for the transmission to be full. I would suggest you getting a longer funnel than this one because it's not long enough. As you see, I had to do a 2 funnel drop method to get it in there without wasting a bunch. I wasted a little bit, but not a lot. The under tray is probably not going back in right now. I might see if I can order another one. I think they're like 30-40 bucks. So it'll be easy to drain a little bit of fluid out if there's too much in it. And it only takes 2 seconds to take the air box out to add more fluid. So this is pretty much it. Tried to change transmission fluid and filter in 2014 to 2021 Mazda 6. I don't know if it changes with the turbo, but I think it's the exact same transmission, so it all should be the same. All the people on Reddit was saying, oh, you're using GM transmission fluid and lube guard, blah blah blah. So somebody in 2-3 months, 4 months, 5 months, remind me to do a update video on this, and we'll see if you're right, or we will see if Lube Guard works for me the way it works for supercharged Mazda 6 in the US that uses this exact same formula, and he auto crosses his car and has no issues out of it. So we'll see if the Reddit people are smart as what they think they are, or if they're not. So, you know, they've been proven wrong already by one car that, like I said, supercharged Mazda 6, the only one in the US, and he actually auto crosses his car and his transmission is doing just fine. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and time lapse putting the air filter assembly back in there, and then it'll just fade out to the end of the video. That ain't going nowhere. Till next time, peace.